put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And welcome this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am Rhea Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, good morning those of you viewing in the Caribbean, and those of you on the live, good morning, good morning. Julian is not with us this morning, but Julian Skeet, we trust that wherever you are, you're having a great day. Well, viewers, we are thankful for life this morning. It's rainy here in Scarborough, Tobago, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall, third floor Port Mall, Lower Scarborough, Tobago. And like I said, it's a rainy day. You know, when I got here this morning, it seems slightly, in fact, heavily overcast, not even slightly, but heavily overcast. And so, you know, we urge those of you who are on the roads to be safe. Those of you who've got to walk to work, walk to school, get an umbrella. In fact, if you're getting to work, get an umbrella. We just want to remind those passengers, those commuters from East Tobago, far East Tobago, that the Bad Rock Road is completely blocked off. So for those of you exiting the east, you've got to pass through Long Bed, which is in Kendall, coming all the way out on the other side of Zion Hill. All right, so we just remind you that Bad Rock is completely blocked off to all traffic coming and going. I doubt very much the bus was able to make it into Charlottesville this morning, because I am not certain that that bus is able to make it up Zion Hill. So be aware and be very cautious there this morning. Well, before we get into things this morning, we want to head over to Candice with the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Rhea. I am Candice Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, 8th November 2022. The tourism industry customer service training is ready to be launched. The training is a collaboration between the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited and the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, with an international award-winning customer service leader uplifting service. The program aims to raise the quality of customer service care in a bid to increase tourism revenue and the overall visitor experience. All stakeholders, whether directly or indirectly involved with tourism, will undergo the training. The program kicks off with a Service Leaders Forum from November 12th to the 18th. Meanwhile, a 71-year-old man was crushed to death by a maxi taxi yesterday. According to reports, Theodore James was working on his maxi taxi with some other men at his home in Black Rock when the accident occurred. Shortly after 10 a.m., James asked one of the men to start the maxi while he was still making some adjustments underneath, when the maxi rolled onto James, crushing him. He immediately succumbed to his injuries. Family and friends expressed shock over the freak accident. And nationally, trade unions were disappointed yesterday when they attempted to seek consolidation talks with the chief personnel officer but were rejected. They were summoned to appear before a tribunal after wage negotiations were referred there by Finance Minister Carm Imbert. During the case management conference yesterday, they all asked that the matters be taken to the consolidation stage instead, so that they could keep negotiation with the CPO and a third-party involvement, usually the ministry. Their plea was rejected, but the court began setting trial dates for both parties. And that was the news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Rhea.
Thank you there, Candice. Thank you so much for that. And you know, on the issue of the passing of Mr. Theodore James, the Tobago Updates family joins with the family this morning. In fact, we extend condolences to all of the family. This was certainly a very unfortunate circumstance taking place yesterday. No one could have seen this. No one could have, imagined this at all, happening yesterday at all. So we join with you this morning, extending condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Theodore James. And we really pray God's peace upon you at this time. Viewers, at this time, we're going to head over into some birthday celebrations for today. And some of those birthdays, I'm joining here with my classmate and my friend, Cindy Charles, is celebrating her birthday today. So Cindy, love going out to you this morning from the class of 89 5B, as well as all of the 89ers and the Tobago Updates family. Happy birthday going out to you today, Cindy. And Simone Webster celebrating her birthday. Simone, love going out to you this morning. Yes, Simone, we're putting you on blast today. All right, so have a great one. Love from the Tobago Updates family. Sita Bipat Combi. Now, we oftentimes forget that Combi, but Sita, we're putting it in this morning. Sita Bipat Combi celebrating her birthday. Sita, love going out to you from the entire Tobago Updates family. And this is a belated birthday greeting going out to Beverly Ramsey Moore, who celebrated yesterday, looking fine, my dear. So happy belated birthday going out to you this morning, Mrs. Ramsey Moore. Trust that you had a really great one there. All right, so unfortunately, and this is life. In the midst of life, there is death, and nothing really prepares us for it. But just to let you know, viewers, what's coming up on the program this morning, we are going to be chatting with Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus, as the former chairman of the Tobago Festivals Commission. She's going to chat with us this morning on Tobago's Carnival. Hit or miss? We get her thoughts and her updates. And then we're going to switch gears a little bit here as we focus on a tourism industry customer service training. And we're going to be chatting with Avion Hercules and Robert McPhee. All right, so they're going to be chatting with us, and I'm very interested in the timing of this tourism industry customer service training. And then Elspeth Duncan is going to be chatting with us as we focus on a low-cost spay and neuter cats and dogs program. We are super excited about that. So if you got your cats at home, you got your dogs, there is a low-cost program that's being put on to have them spayed and neutered. So that's what's coming up on the program this morning, and we encourage you this morning, viewers, to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Rest assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest assured, the affordable financial comfort plan, Tattle Life, guaranteed protection.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tattle is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tattle is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tattle will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tattle, where people are people.
You know what I mean.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting this morning with Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus, the former chairman of the Tobago Festivals Commission. Our topic this morning is on the Tobago Carnival. Hit or miss? Good morning and welcome to you, Dr. Angus.
Good morning, Ria. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the world, because we are global on this digital platform. And before we get started, please allow me to extend deepest condolences to the family, the James family in Black Rock. Indeed, it was an unfortunate incident, and I do wish them God's strength during this time, and may Mr. James rest in peace.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Angus, we've just come out of the first Tobago October Carnival. Give us your thoughts on what you saw, what you experienced, and your general feel of this event.
Okay, so looking on from the outside, because I really was not in the thrust of the festivities, right, which gives you a different experience of it. But you know, with putting on an event like this for the first time in October, and I'm not calling it the first Tobago Carnival because Tobago has had Carnival ever since, so they need to start looking at what do they call February.
The first October. October Carnival.
Well, I don't think people put that in. All you heard is Tobago's first Carnival. And we need to ask ourselves, what is the brand we are selling, such that people will decide to come back for the Tobago brand versus a Miami brand versus, you know, some other brand. So we need to ask, what is the brand that we are selling such that we get, you know, people to come back and be curious about it. And we then need to look at the impact of it. And if you measure impact at different levels, impact, you know, and success is not about money.
Right.
Okay, let's get that clear. Success is not about how much money you made. Success is about impact. And the impact, if you look at the persons who have benefited between Trinidad and Tobago, because that is a conversation out there and we cannot ignore that conversation. There are many people out there who would say, well, Tobago benefited less from all the other persons who entered, and we're looking at it from the fetes and the promoters type of activities that came onto the island. Fine. If you're looking at the economic impact, yes, you may have had some initial economic impact from the what we call head on beds, right, the transportation, even the port and the air bridge would have been impacted positively because you had an increased passage between the islands. I know that there were some challenges with people getting to Tobago. I myself was told there were 150 people on a waiting list and you can't get to Tobago. Stayed in Trinidad for about 2 days additional. And therefore, you had some impact there. You had some impact on the groceries, on the restaurants.
Right.
But it's left to see the real impact on the economy in the next 2 months in terms of the buying power of the people? Did the money really trickle down to the point that you have more purchasing power of the average person on the street? That's also one of the real impacts you had to look at. And then you also have the impact on the people. Did your vendors, was there a vested interest in your vendors and people who are in Tobago to earn money from the 2 days of revelry? I understand there was a big issue and it came off quite insensitive where you changed the route, and maybe some ignorance there, where you changed the route not taking into consideration what all of the route means to all of the people.
Right.
A route is not just about revelers. It's about, you know, the exchange, the people who are going to be seated to look at it, the people who are going to be vending in the area, and that seemed to have fallen down seriously. And I truly hope that they are addressing that, because if you spent your last dollar to put together some food, hoping to double that income when you went out there, and you haven't even been able to sell one something, that is a huge challenge to that household. And you also get to look at the impact on your indigenous band leaders, your pan, your calypso, and you ask yourself, you know, did these people, was there a developmental part to your carnival? How are you growing the carnival from your own people's level? And from, you know, reviewing and listening to the persons, that was significantly not there. And there was no competition, there was no serious involvement of them in having a place in the product. And if you look at the number of those who portrayed on the day, it really was not expressive of the numbers you would normally see portraying their costumes in February. I know they didn't get support to bring out their costumes, which is something we would have done in the past. And it should have been considered even now, because we're in a post-COVID period,
yes.
You know, that had to be taken into consideration, that the resources for small band leaders to come out was not there. I know that there are a number of young people who were putting together bands. They did their designs, everything, did their launch, and then they had to abandon it because they just were not getting enough information to go forward in a timely manner and the support to go forward in a timely manner. So the developmental aspect was a bit lacking. In my day, we would ensure that the small camps for their calypso tents, that they were supported so they could bring off their calypso tents. I don't think that was there. And it's not always about competition, but a small performance fee. These calypsonians have to pay for, you know, going into studio, getting the calypso done, all of this. And therefore a performance fee in putting together tents. Again, preservation of the indigenous part of the culture is important. And I don't think that you had that support at that level for the grassroots, because there are people who are carnival lovers, they are pan lovers, and so that was significantly not there. And so you ask yourself, for the $17.5 million, that's the number being shared around, for the $17.5 million, what did we get? In the past, we would have maybe had about roughly 7.5 million by, you know, one of the last carnivals we had, about 7.5 to 8. And inside of that 7.5 million, you had major pan competitions, major masquerade, and costume competitions. You had support. The band leaders got a stipend to get them started. You had major calypso competitions, major support to Tuku, and also your side tents, persons with tents. In addition to that, you had the support system for the schools. You had a major school exercise in supporting the schools in bringing out their carnival, and also the music trucks. We paid for all of the music trucks, and truly had a comprehensive outlook where just about everyone benefited locally. And you ask yourself, okay, we've gone up to 17.5 million. Where was that spent? Where was that spent? And I see the stage, there now. And, I don't think the stage was included in that 17.5 million. So, where was it spent? Because apparently there was not enough infrastructure for persons to sit and actually view the march, the parade, all of these areas. And we would definitely, Tobago deserves a true breakdown of that 17.5 million.
And I do believe that we will get that breakdown. I know persons have been asking for it. I believe we will get it. Now let me ask you here with regards, the chairman of the NCC, Winston Gypsy Peters, indicated in an interview earlier on, I think this was last week, that he had been clamoring for a standalone carnival for Tobago for some time now. Considering the fact, and I heard you made mention of some of the issues, some of the areas that of course would need some work. I know the area of timely information, that was one of the concerns with a lot of the entities for this year's carnival. Yes. Be that as it may, unfortunate, how would you rate the overall event?
How would you rate the overall event?
Yes.
I would rate it at probably a 4.
A 4.
When you look, and that is why I specifically said, success is not about money. If you walk away and leave your people behind, are you successful? Even though you've seemed to have gotten a lot of money, that's not success. And there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of hard decisions to be made. And with all due respect to Mr. Peters, yes, I hear him, but it's a decision for the people of Tobago to decide. Are we going down the road with 2 events that are carnival type events? One seems to be a promoter fete event, and the next one seems to be dedicated to, preservation of the indigenous arts. Or are we going to choose to now have one event where you truly place emphasis on growing, growing a brand that is appealing, that stands out to the rest of the world? And we have that opportunity now to review it, to look at the brand, and to take into consideration economies of scale. Because whereas you have bands in Trinidad, a carnival in Trinidad or the rest of the world where you have millions of people, access to millions, and you come to Tobago where you have 60,000 people and you're going to import another, 60,000? Or, let's say 100,000, that's still, that's still not enough to carry a carnival experience where you've had so many competing events, not just back to back, but on every night. You had competing events, and so what happened is that you had persons who were forced to choose, and some of the events did not do as well as they could have. So that has to be taken into consideration. And also the weather.
Yeah.
the weather has to be taken into consideration. I know that when we initially reviewed the idea to have the Tobago Carnival, it was difficult to find anywhere else on the calendar
to place it.
You know, everybody else is having a carnival, and to find a place on the calendar, you know, it was felt that perhaps that was the best place. However, you get to take into consideration, we had the experience with Blue Food. This is nothing new to us. And so whatever you have happening, you must take into consideration the season and put everything in place to deal with the season, and therefore you have a product that is appealing and can stand up with the seasonal impact of where we are.
So some of our viewers indicated that you know, the idea of having the outside events was good, but it may not have been practical considering that we were in the month of October, and October, as we know, kicks off is well within the rainy season, and anything can happen.
Yeah, so you take that into consideration from the start, but clearly it was felt that that was not taken into consideration, and because there was a lack of significant coordination between all of these promoters, or I should say perceived lack of coordination between the promoters, you know, and everything else going on, they were not, you know, I don't think they were aware of the risk and the impact of the weather on their activities. And I know there are a lot of people who felt also that the parade itself was not coordinated well. And again, those are all areas that need reviews.
Okay. What would you say was the highlight for you for the carnival?
Well, I stated from in front that I was not in the cut and thrust of it.
Right. But in terms of the events, what would you say you would say this event went well, well executed, well organized? Which of the events?
Well, I can't say that because I was not part of the events. So it's difficult for me to say which event went well. You know, I know that whatever events they had brought heads on beds.
Right.
But I do know that some of the people who came, and there are others who just decided they weren't coming, even though they had tickets. And so those who actually came, some of them had a good experience, and some of them really felt that, you know, they were cheated a lot by the experience of having to go, having to stand in the rain, having to be in the mud, and that experience did not go well for them. Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's talk a little bit here about you came from a health background.
Yes.
Were there any concerns about the fact that COVID-19 is still among us, and the hundreds and thousands of persons who came to the island for this event? Looking at the aftermath, I mean, we haven't heard anything yet, and we're not trying to throw a wet blanket on anyone or anything, but were there any concerns?
Everyone is getting back into life, normal life, and the concerns that we have would be similar to any year, because we all know that whenever Carnival is over, you have a major flu. We used to call it the Kung Fu, or whatever brand name.
Was the highlight of Carnival.
That's right.
That year.
You know, and you will name the flu by a name at the end of Carnival, but it's not the first time that at the end of every Carnival we would normally have a major flu circulating, and therefore persons deal with that. So you will expect to see a flu. I mean, COVID has now become like a flu type experience for people. And yes, you still have people who are compromised, who may succumb. But at the end of the day, you hope those people who know that they had chronic non-communicable diseases, or they were immunocompromised in any way, that whilst they were out there, they were taking care of themselves in terms of protecting. So we wait to see.
All right. Well, thank you so much. As we're closing here, Dr. Angus, I really want to ask you, in terms of your overall piece of advice that you'd love to give the Festivals Commission at this time, maybe as they plan for next year, whether it is to continue on with the February Carnival, discard the February Carnival, stick with the October, plan, but whatever it is, what would you say? What would you say to them this morning?
The first thing you need to do is talk to the stakeholders. You know, the stakeholders have held up Carnival for years and years. How could you come in and grossly disrespect them by just pushing them aside and creating what you want? And there is an opportunity to bring everyone on board, have everyone own the product that is going to be emerging. But the important thing is communication. Call the band leaders, the Calypso fraternity, the Pan fraternity, call all of them, the creative arts sector, call all of them and have them have their say. Have their say. It's their carnival as much as what you put on, I know that, the sentiments of some of the people out there were that, some of the people who were brought to actually create the carnival now, that most of their carnivals were spent in Trinidad, so they did not even know what type of carnival Tobago had in the past and could not appreciate the caliber. I know some people felt that, especially the band leaders, when people say, oh, it's the first time we see such large costumes on the road. Come on. Tobagonians have done well. Their band leaders, they have grown and developed well in terms of the caliber of costumes that we have had before. You don't diss them like that. They don't deserve it.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Angus, for chatting with us this morning. Just before we wrap things up here, viewers, we just want to inform you that due to further landslides at Bad Rock, the public is advised to note the following changes. All traffic heading east to access Kendall by turning left at the Church of God at Richmond to the top of Zion Hill and then left through Job Street. Traffic heading west will turn right at Longbed Kendall to Job Street and left at Zion Hill, effectively creating a one-way down Zion Hill. So please be guided accordingly. We're going to remind you of this even as the morning continues. Well, viewers, lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Lifespan is the affordable critical illness plan you need. Cover expenses up to $1 million. Tattoo Life. Guaranteed protection.
If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero. Champion. Fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates morning show. And you know, as we chatted a little while ago there with Dr. Denise Soyafad Angus, I was looking at some of the comments coming in. You know, persons, yes, it is a first time event, and of course we are trying to get the opinions of as many of the stakeholders, as many of the you know, contributors as possible. And I want us to be mindful here, you know, when a guest shares their view, it is their view. We've invited them on to share their view, and sometimes we've got to really separate politics from the purpose and the programs. You know, it's just getting persons' views on things. All right. I think Stephanie George says, good morning, Ria and Doc. Remember, it is a first. The aim is to present an income-generated product, and rightly so, Stephanie. October is the beginning of the perceived tourist season. It was about attracting participants who would return, bringing others, and definitely, I think this year has certainly embedded itself in that. So, of course, the next time around, there would be things would turn out, you know, we'd see a lot more persons coming to the island. The organizers made it explicitly clear that it is a trial. They wanted to do solo first. I commend them. Growth and development is the aim. So, Stephanie, thank you so much for your contribution there. We want to switch gears at this time as we focus on the tourism industry customer service training. And on our program this morning, we want to invite Avian Hercules, who is the Business Development and Investment Director, TTAL, and Robert McPhee, who is the Forum Facilitator for the Customer Service Training. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Tobago. Thank you for having us.
Okay, Avian, let's start with you this morning. Give us an idea of the objectives of this customer service training and why now? The objectives and why now?
Yes, good morning again to everyone. The objectives, the end game of this is to have a robust, well-trained, differentiated service culture on the island. That's the end game for this. Why now? Why not now? This has been long in making, Ria. This is decades old. Having Tobago has had some challenges with poor customer service, right? And this has been decades old. It's not a new thing. And I know that several attempts were made to rectify the issues. So this particular project is intended to improve the quality of customer service delivered across all contact points in Tobago. And TTAL, in collaboration with the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute and Uplifting Service, we forged a partner with this fantastic company, international award-winning customer service program leader, in the name of Uplifting Service, to implement this really groundbreaking initiative for Tobago, so that at the end of the day, we can turn things around with in terms of the level of service that we provide to our customers and to each other. Ria.
All right.
So
thank you so much for that.
This project, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
And so, again, this project is being spearheaded by TTAL. And as I said, it was long in making. This is a 3-year project. In fact, it started in 2021. And it came out of discussions that TTAL held back in 2018. But as I said before, this didn't start there. This has been long in making. The Tobago House of Assembly recognized the need, and they made a policy decision to ensure that the customer service issues on the island be addressed.
All right, thank you so much. Let's chat a little bit here with the forum facilitator, Robert McPhee. Good morning and welcome to the program, Mr. McPhee.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you. Let's talk a little bit about some of the areas to be covered as we focus on customer service, the customer service training. Would you say is customer service across the board, or does it, is it unique to to a specific country, a specific organization? Give us your thoughts.
I think probably the best way to answer that question, and one thing that makes our approach from uplifting service and our model's perspective, is that the customer service model that we use takes it beyond the normal scope of what we think of as customer service. So often people think of a very front-facing organization, a hotel or a restaurant or that type of organization, which the work we do is certainly very applicable to, but it's also applicable to organizations that we might not normally think of as customer service focused. And it also focuses both internally and externally. So organizations don't necessarily think of the relationships they have within their organization as customer service interactions, but the model that we bring gets people to look at customer service very differently, and look at a different definition of service, and look at different language that we use around service, and ways to identify. It was very interesting listening in on your previous segment. There's a real opportunity there to look at that carnival as a customer service interaction and see how did we do with this first time event, and really start identifying the things that could be done better. And I think that people are going to find that the uplifting service model makes it much easier to do that, and a much more positive and solution-focused way to approach something like that. It's customer service when it comes right down to it.
Now, has COVID-19 made any type of impact on our customer service products here in Tobago, Avian?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. COVID forced us to retreat. COVID forced us to stay away from people for fear of contracting the disease and so on. And not only that, COVID caused a lot of us to go under personal strain, the economic strain, the financial strain, the social, psychosocial strain, and so on. So, coming out of COVID and reopening the sector, which is relevant to us, we need to look at how we reposition Tobago, and in part of repositioning Tobago, to look at how we deal with each other, how we deal with the guests, how when they come in, understand it is accepted industry, and going beyond even industry. Yeah, you know how you feel when you go to a particular establishment, it's a comedy or restaurant or so on, and you're treated well, you're greeted with a smile and so on, and especially the guests. How do you feel? What makes you return to that place? May not be because of the service, but how do you feel when you go to a particular place, and how do they treat you? So what we intend to change the service culture, as Mr. McPhee indicated, understandings between service and servitude, and putting a whole different spin on it, and touching all the points from immigration to customs to the gas station persons, etc. So the training will take place at two levels. One is a service leader level, and then there's another training. But at the end of it, we intend to have persons who come from the various establishments, whether it's government or private sector, come in and train those persons, and then those persons will go out now and train a wider cross section. So at the initial start, we expect at the end of the day to train about 12,000 persons on the island. That's a small number because a lot more persons are employed in the industry. But we feel that once the culture, we start to change the culture, a lot of more positive things could happen for the destination.
Okay. Thank you so much. And let me ask Mr. McPhee here. Mr. McPhee, in terms of the areas and the topics to be covered, give us an idea of some of the topics that you would be dealing with for this training.
Sure. It really starts with looking at how we define service, and our model takes a slightly different look at that. We look at some very different language in terms of assessing the level of service that we're currently providing and what level we would like to get to. We have a very unique definition of service excellence. And then we also have a whole different level of the model that we use that focuses on implementation, because we're very committed to this not being a one-time event that people attend and learn some new information, but really don't get focused on implementing it. So we have an entire model we call the building blocks, which is focused on implementing the information in a really powerful way that creates lasting change, rather than an event we might think of, 6 months or a year down the road and think, well, what did we ever really do with that? The focus is on having it be implemented right out of the gate. And for our event that we're doing on the 15th next week, for what we call service leaders, people in organizations, and again, all different types of organizations who are leaders and who want to improve and create a true service-focused culture. Our event on the 15th is open to any of those leaders, any of those people from organizations. And part of the commitment is that they will leave that event. It's actually 2 half-day events that people can choose the best time for them to come. But anyone who comes, I'm committed to making sure that they leave with very actionable information and ideas that they can literally take back to their organization, whatever that organization is, and implement immediately, share with their team members immediately, and see what a difference this approach can make.
And remind us again of who is the target group for this training.
Well, it's kind of like what the question earlier was talking about. How did we know we were supposed to do this? What drove it? We kind of just knew. But again, part of the focus of this work is not to target a specific type of industry like hotels or restaurants or other specific travel related organizations. It's really any organization that is interacting with other people, and that can even be within their organization. It can be with vendors and suppliers and that type of thing. The idea, again, is to look at changing the culture, to create a customer service focused culture. And that can apply really to any organization that's committed to improving their relationships with the people that they interact with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, within the organization and also outside of the organization. So for anyone who's listening and saying, is this for me? I would invite you to consider, who is your customer, both internally and externally? And if you feel like there's room to improve the way your people are dealing with your customers, your outside customers, or your inside customers, your vendors, your suppliers, your coworkers, then this is an event that's absolutely for you.
Okay, thank you so much. Adrian, give us an idea. Sorry, go ahead.
So to add to what Mr. McPhee just said, so if you're listening and you know that you're in accommodation, it's for you. If you're in food and beverage, it's for you. If you're a bartender, if you're a waitress, if you are a gas station attendant, it's for you. If you're in transportation, you drive a taxi or a maxi, you interact with anybody who is a customer, this is for you. If you're an attractions provider, you provide tours, excursions, pleasure craft, this is for you. Once you interact with persons, and you are in the industry, not even if you're interact with persons, you have clients, you have customers, you have people who come to you to pay for a particular service. This service training is for you.
All right. Thank you so much. And just give us very quickly here, we need to get the dates and how persons can register for this training.
So the Tobago Industry Customer Service Training Program takes place, the Service Leadership Forum actually. It takes place on November 15th. That's this week and next week coming at the Shore Park Cultural Complex. There are 2 sessions on that particular day. The first session starts at 8 to 12:30, and the second session starts at 1:30 to 5:30. So if you don't have the morning, you can come in the afternoon same session. And until registering, this is important. You must register to participate, right? The registration is done through our partner, the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, and you can contact them by email, customer.service@thti.edu.tt, and you can also call them. Call their number at 313-0456. Again, this is our partner in the process, the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, and the number is 313-0456 to register. And as I said, Ria, this program started in 2021, and it continues on until 2022 until 2023. We're in the second year of the program, and we want everybody. At the end of the day, we're hoping that we can get about 12,000 persons in the industry trained up to help us kickstart our tourism economy here.
All right. Thank you so much, Avian, for chatting with us, and Mr. Robert McPhee. And we say, we're certainly looking forward to this. Thank you again for being on the program with us this morning. So viewers, there you have it. The information is out there, and it's all about the tourism industry customer service training. The numbers to call. Okay, so you can give them a call and register, give your names so that you can be a part of this. And again, it is for anyone who deals with other persons, whether it's within your organization or externally, for us all to be on the same page as it relates to customer service. Well, lots more coming up on the program. When we come back, we are going to be chatting with Elspeth Duncan, and it's all about the low-cost spay and neuter cats and dogs program. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if you're nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
from place to place. Good morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting this morning with Elspeth Duncan, and Elspeth is the founder and director of Venus Dogs of Love. Doggess. Okay, I thought they were. I wondered. Okay, Venus Doggess of Love. All right, and this morning she's chatting with us on a low-cost spay and neuter cats and dogs program. Elspeth, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Ria, and good morning, Tobago and all viewers.
Now, I want to put some of our business out there and let the viewers know that you and I have been talking for some time now via social media.
Yes.
And this all started when there was, there was a dog that had been killed.
Right. That was, well, I mean, there are many dogs that get killed.
It was a stray animal that had been suffering.
Well, there were a few cases that came to the public attention through the media. I think a dog that was shot in Crown Point, and then there was the husky that was also killed sometime earlier this year.
Right. And you were very passionate about it, and not just very, I have to say extremely passionate about it. You did send me some photos, and we've been talking about doing this program or a program similar to this, like this, for some time now, to educate the public on how we care for dogs and cats, pets, animals. So we have these dogs and cats at home, and they're for our purpose.
Yeah.
But we don't always treat them right. We don't always care for them. They're there for our purpose as animal owners, pet owners. Let's take it from there.
Okay, well, that's a good point. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people see a dog, they want that dog to work. In other words, it could be tied somewhere and its job is to bark and alert them to if somebody's coming. A cat, its purpose is to kill rats and keep away vermin. But especially dog, all animals are sentient beings, and sentient meaning that they have feelings just as we do. And they suffer, and they feel pain, they feel joy, they feel everything that we do. And dogs and cats in particular are known as companion animals. So while they do those things, they are also our companions and should be treated as such.
Yeah. But
do they have food? Do they have good food? Do they have water on a hot day? Do they have shelter? When there's a storm, are they out in the rain without any, some people leave their dogs tied out in the rain because they don't have the shelter. And I think we need that awareness of just taking the time, what is this animal feeling? If I were in this animal's place, what would I feel?
All right, and is it that we're just not aware, we're just not educated on how to care for animals? This is not a Caribbean thing, and if you look at our history, where we've come from as a people, dogs and cats were there just as security.
Right.
When we go abroad, we see persons having dogs and cats on the inside,
yeah.
With beds and homes and everything catered to them.
Yeah, and you're getting more of that here too, huh?
I think
more so in Trinidad, but also in Tobago.
Because we're a little bit more exposed now.
Right.
Okay, we're a little bit more exposed now, and of course, I'm sure there's some neighbors who say, "But why do you have a bed for the dog? Put the dog outside.
Yeah.
Dogs are for." But we're a little bit more aware now. But how can we make persons more aware of how to? I think it's more the how to treat. Yeah, how to care for.
Well, I think how to care for something really starts with yourself. Do you know how to care for yourself? Do you know that when you're hungry, you want to get something to eat? So do you think about your dog? Is this dog hungry? What is this dog going to eat? Is it going to eat bones? Is it going to eat the scraps from my plate? Would I eat the scraps from a plate, and would I be satisfied? And the answer is probably no.
Do I purposefully cook a meal or prepare a meal for the animal?
Yeah, preparing a meal. Now that's another point. A lot of people cannot afford what is proper upkeep. And proper upkeep is not only food, water, and shelter, and love. We must not forget the intangible things that are important. But vet care. I mean, going to the vet is very costly, hence the low-cost thing, which we'll get to just now. But Yeah, it's costly. The price of dog food has gone up, cat food, everything has gone up. And even people who are cooking for the animals, everything has gone up.
Right.
So you actually find a lot of people dumping their animals because they can't afford to take care of them. And the point is, if you cannot take care of animals and you cannot afford to give them the quality of life that they deserve, which is also the quality of life that you would give to yourself, if you could. Now, that's another point. Some people, a man told me once, I asked him, how often do you feed your dog? And he said, oh, every other day I just toss something for it. I said, well, you know, can you give it more? And he said, do you eat every day?
Wow.
And, you know, sometimes we look at people like they're not feeding their dog, but sometimes they can't feed themselves. On the other hand, you have somebody who's like, I can't feed my dog, yet they're buying a cell phone, or they're paying, like somebody the other day told me she paid a few thousand for a husky, but yet she can't pay for the little pot hound that she has to go to the vet. And that's another thing I want to bring up, Ria, the pot hound. You know, I think it has, that word has such a negative connotation. But
I think some years ago they changed it and they were referring to the pot hound as
Tobago
the
Terrier, Caribbean Shepherd, etc.
Caribbean Shepherd,
Caribbean
wow.
Shepherd. But you see, even that, it's like we need to rename it into something that sounds fancy in order to appreciate it, rather than just appreciate it for what it is,
What
you
it
know?
is, yeah.
This is a rock. We can't call this rock a diamond,
You're
but we
a pot
appreciate
hound,
the rock.
but
Yeah.
appreciate the pot hound.
Appreciate it for what it does. They're loyal. I mean, you know how many people abroad have adopted pot hounds from here?
Yes.
And these dogs are like, I mean...
we say living the life.
Living the
abroad.
life.
Yes.
Living the life. We wish we could be adopted too.
Flying and planes, Virgin Atlantic,
Yeah.
and you know, living the life. But even as you spoke about not just being able to feed and give water to and give shelter to these animals, but the issue here of vaccination, the issue here of vet care.
Yes, vaccination, worming.
Let's get into that. Let's get into the low cost spaying and neutering of these animals, being able to do that and really to cut the population down. If we can't care for what we have, why have more coming on?
Exactly. So for those who don't know, to spay and neuter means that it's a surgical procedure in which the reproductive organs of the animal are removed, so there can be no reproduction. So that is how we keep down the population of dogs and cats. A regular spay or neuter could be $600 and up now for a medium dog, let's say. And that price has gone up recently, as with everything else. What we are giving here with the low cost is a price of $300 for dogs and $200 for cats. These are owned dogs and cats.
Right.
But we've also raised funds to cover feral cats. There's so many feral cats around Tobago, especially hotels and stuff. And a lot of hotels and business places have cats, and some people see them as pests. And unfortunately, they may resort to means such as poisoning, putting out poison to mass killing of cats.
Heard of that.
And not only is this animal cruelty, but it's unnecessary and it actually causes the problem to continue. Because when you have a colony of cats living in a hotel, for example, and you spay and neuter those cats, and you maintain a healthy colony of spayed and neutered cats, those cats actually protect their environment. So they protect the hotel. So any other cats coming in are not permitted by those cats that are there. So that's just a bit of advice to hotels that may have cats and may consider probably taking them and putting them somewhere else, which is what people also do.
Right.
But again, that allows new cats to come back in because there are no cats to keep them away from their territory. So the advice is, and this is what we're willing to do, to trap and spay and neuter cats that are populating hotels and different places, the feral cats, and to just advise on keeping a healthy colony.
All right. A couple of our viewers on the live are saying here, Lisa York is saying, wonderful to see Elspeth Duncan speaking about this very important topic. And then Alicia Samuel says, dogs and cats are very sensitive. She says that I have 5 cats and children spoil each of them. My eldest son loves them the most. Animals are children. All right. When is all of this taking place in terms of the spaying and neutering program?
All right, the Spay and Neuter program is taking place from the 17th to the 21st of November, so that's in about 10 days. The actual days of surgery are the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and we are bringing, this is happening at Mount Irving Bay Resort, and I must give huge kudos to Mount Irving Bay Resort, because this is our 3rd Spay and Neuter that we've been having there, and they have been so generous in giving one of their cabanas that we convert into a temporary vet clinic. Their staff has been hands-on with helping with animals. They even adopted a dog, a stray dog that was there, and they gave him a collar, they gave him a tag, they treated him like their hotel pet. And I think as a hotel, they are pioneering what I think is very important for tourism. And I do wish that Tobago would take this into consideration, the importance and the value of companion animals, dogs and cats, in promoting tourism in Tobago. Because I can put my head on a block to say that 99% of the tourists I have met since I've been living in Tobago for 10 years have all been animal lovers, and have all been negatively affected by a lot of what they see when they come to Tobago in terms of how animals are treated. And when a hotel such as Mount Irving creates that environment where anybody looking on can see, look, this hotel cares about animals. I mean, we've spayed and neutered the cats in their colony. Their employees feed the cats. They maintain a healthy colony of spayed and neutered cats, and their cats are happy, they look good. It's the kind of thing that I wish a lot more hotels in Tobago would take on, because it attracts guests, it attracts customers. I could also vouch for that.
All right. How can persons contact you, for those persons looking on out there and are planning, this is a good initiative, I want to be a part of this? How can they contact you?
Well, the number that anybody can call to get in touch, whether it's to volunteer or whether it is to register for the Spay and Neuter, is 786-2539. 786-2539.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much, Elspeth. And this is the first of many discussions to come on the issue of stray animals throughout Tobago, as well as care for pets and good information for pet owners. All right. So, like I said, the first of many conversations to come. Yes?
Really, yes.
Okay, good. All right. Well, viewers, we want to leave it there for today, but we want to thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day. Stay safe on the roads. But remember, GMT is coming up. We cannot forget GMT. Candace is coming up, and lots of interesting guests on her program today. Tomorrow, we look at the youth program. It's Wednesday. So we will see you here for the Tobago Updates Morning Show on Thursday. So over to Candace at this time with the GMT. Have a great day, Tobago.
Assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. The tourism industry customer service training is ready to be launched. The training is a collaboration between the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited and the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, with the international award-winning customer service leader uplifting service. The program aims to raise the quality of customer service care in a bid to increase tourism revenue and the overall visitor experience. All stakeholders, whether directly or indirectly involved with tourism, will undergo the training. The program kicks off with a service leaders forum from November 12th to the 18th. Meanwhile, a 71-year-old man was crushed to death by a maxi taxi yesterday. According to reports, Theodore James was working on his maxi taxi with some other men near his home in Blackrock when the accident occurred. Shortly after 10 a.m., James asked one of the men to start the maxi while he was still making adjustments underneath, when the maxi rolled onto James and crushing him. He immediately succumbed to his injuries. Family and friends expressed shock over the freak accident. And nationally, trade unions were disappointed yesterday when they attempted to seek consolidation talks with the chief personnel officer, but were rejected. They were summoned to appear before a tribunal, after wage negotiations were referred there by the Finance Minister, Com Imbert. During the case management conference yesterday, they all asked that the matters be taken to the consolidation stage instead, so that they can keep negotiating with the CPU and a third-party involvement, usually the ministry. Their plea was rejected and the court began setting trial dates for both parties. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Viewers, we started our news talking a little bit about, the need to bolster our customer service training here in Tobago, because of course, customer service helps the visitor itself, take care of, have a better experience on the island. But another part of that is also ensuring that we have the health and safety practices good, up to a certain standard within the hospitality sector. And to speak to us a little bit about that aspect of things, we have Kafa on the line, who's going to be talking us a myriad of topics based on, just health and safety within our environment. Now, on the line we have Dr. Indar. So Dr. Lisa Indar, a special good morning and welcome to you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Good morning. I hope you can hear me fine.
Yes, we can hear you. And if I'm not mistaken, you're coming to us from World Travel Market out there in London.
Yes, I am.
All right, great. So, I'm going to get started off our discussions. Let's just sort of based on the tourism aspect of things. What are some of the things that our hoteliers, our accommodation sector need to keep in mind as we're preparing for more visitors on the island?
Right. So, tourism is our main economic earner, and we have to protect that brand. And from where I sit, we think it's very important to look at the health aspects of tourism, because more and more tourists are asking for healthier, safer stay. And COVID-19 proved that, where it devastated tourism. So we really want to put back health in tourism. We want health to be a factor in tourism, and in doing so, we have our tourism and health program that looks at very innovative way where we build capacity and we monitor and respond to illness. And the latest is the development of these health, safety and environmental standards, which are operational clean and green standards for the tourism sector.
Now, as you're out there in at the World Travel Market, what are some of the things that the tourism agencies, the tour agencies and so on, what are they looking for to ensure that when they refer visitors to the destination, that their visitors are guaranteed a sort of a healthy and a safety stay while in Tobago and even in Trinidad?
Yes, so they're looking for some form of recognition that from a reputable, entity. So, for instance, you would have the Green Globe certification, the Green Globe stamp, or the World Travel Tourism stamp. And similar to that, we have a Healthy Safer Tourism stamp, a Caribbean Healthy Safer Tourism stamp that's recognized by the globally as well as in the Caribbean, which tells you, if you have that stamp in your hotel or your tourism facility, it means that you are employing proactive health measures. And so this is one of what they're looking for. A traveler who is coming can go to the Caribbean Travelers Health app and be able to find out which tourism entity, whether it be a hotel or a taxi driver or a tour destination, which of them have the stamp, so they know they are doing proactive health measures. It means they are monitoring, they have been trained, and they are using proper healthier operational standards.
And of course, also when we talk about health and safety, you also have to talk about, the food industry, because, of course, that is very, very crucial, and we have to be certainly very careful with us concerned. What standards are being developed to ensure that those of us, those persons in the food industry can be assured that they are providing food up to those health and safety codes?
Yes. So the 7 standards that were developed, these are 7 health, safety and environmental standards. It includes food safety, air quality, water safety, waste management, pest management, energy management, and so on. So food safety is one of the biggest of those standards because it's so important. And that tells you, these standards took 4 years to create, and they meet national, regional, and international requirements. And they were created, with the Bureau of Standards, including Trinidad and Tobago's Bureau of Standards. So it meets all the national requirements, but it elevates it to international requirements. And furthermore, they were then approved by CARICOM. So they're the first ever CARICOM approved regional hospitality, operational health, safety and environmental standards. So we know that, using these standards would really, impact on health and safety, including food safety. With these standards, there's a checklist. So it's a voluntary checklist that any tourism entity can use to be able to decipher if they are doing the right things or the wrong.
Okay, it appears that we may have lost Dr. Indar, but of course, I think we got her back. Dr. Indar, are you there?
I am here.
Great.
Yes.
So, you were speaking about those standards that CAFA has outlined for the food industry, and I was just also wondering, how many of our businesses here in Tobago have subscribed to those standards and have gotten that sort of stamp of approval, whether it's like a sticker or a branding or something like that, to say that, they are on board with the CAFA standards?
Right. So we have several businesses in Tobago Tobago, we have over 50 entities in Tobago that is involved with the whole travelers or tourism and health program. With respect to using the standards are going to be launched, so they are not available as yet. On Monday, they are going to be launched at the Magdalena at 6 p.m. and, with the Secretary of Health and Secretary of Tourism. A bit of a fanfare, but, it's the launching of the first ever hospitality, CARICOM approved hospitality standards. Yes.
And that's certainly good news, and we were looking forward to see that being adopted by our businesses here in Tobago. Now, I also want to move on to, waste management. Even when it comes to, the water waste, the drainage waste, all those things, when we have our food industries, like if we go down to Crown Point and those areas, we're often met with some not so fun smells, and these are coming off of our restaurants and that sort of thing. What role is CAFA playing in working with the government, working with those that are involved with infrastructure to ensure that, our business community, even our residents, they sort of comply with some sort of standards in the way that we handle our waste?
Mm-hmm. So CAFA takes a holistic approach when it comes to health, and because of that we have many entities at CAFA. We actually have an environmental health department that operates through our office in St. Lucia, but that particular department deals with air quality, wastewater, waste quality and so on, and it's very, very important. So therefore CAFA provides technical supports to countries, whether it be Trinidad, Tobago and other countries, to help come up with operational standards, technical guidelines to make sure that they're doing the right things, and that whatever challenges they're facing, that we help solve them. And we work directly with our countries as well to do so.
And another part of CAFA is that of the integrated pest management. Can you enlighten me a little bit about, what's your role where that is concerned? Because, of course, that's another thing that we have to be aware of within our society.
Yes. So these are one of the other standards of the 7 standards that we have created. And while they are operational hospitality standards, we, in our environmental health department, deals with air quality as well as pest management. So we have, a set of operational measures for reducing pests, not just in the hospitality sector, but overall, and how to keep pests free, and how to build to keep pests away, and to ensure that how to clean to keep pests away, and so on. Yes. So what the standards does is brings all of that together. We call them operational standards because they're easy to use. It's not a long set of reading, but very easy to use. Tells you what to do, tells you which are critical and that you must do, and it gives you a checklist so you can be able to check out and let you by yourself be able to tell you that I'm doing well, I need to do better, and so on.
Of course, another part of it is that how we manage our energy, because right now as we speak, there's COP27 happening in Egypt. And of course, the discussions continue to be focused as to how do we reduce our energy emissions. and our carbon dioxide emissions and so on? How do we reduce our reliance on fossil fuels? You know, what are some of the recommendations that CAFA is given to the public in terms of reducing our energy and then reducing the impact on our environment?
Right, and these actually are outlined in the standards. How do you use less fossil fuel? How do you ensure?
Yeah, I think we lost her again. And of course we lost her at the time when she was, okay, there she goes. So, Dr. Indar, we lost you for a minute, so if you would like to just repeat.
I think the connection is very bad here, but I know you're going to have me Monday and we can speak more in detail. Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward for that rollout of the standards here in Tobago, and just having our businesses, no matter what parts of the sector, the tourism sector that they are in, that they can get that stamp of approval. So it just gives us more oomph, I guess, when we're marketing our destination.
Yes. So there's two parts of using, two major benefits. One, it's raising your standard of operations, and it's almost like an added assurance that you are reducing illnesses through proper operational standards, and you are going to be, if you reduce illnesses, you're going to have increased profitability. If you reduce illness, the second benefit is that you increase your recognition because you are a healthier, safer operation. So we believe that these operational standards, these are regional standards, so therefore we can be able to have harmonized measures, not just in Tobago, but across the different facilities in Tobago and throughout Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the region, so that the world sees the Caribbean better, the world sees Tobago as a healthier, safer destination to come to. So we encourage businesses to use these standards.
All right, great. And like you said, you're going to be here on Monday, and then we're going to see the rollout of the plan, and we're going to be hearing more about the plan as the days and the weeks go on. So thank you so much for joining us, viewers. That was Dr. Indar, and she's coming to us live from London at the World Travel Market, where, of course, we're continuing to see how much that we can push tourism forward. And the idea of having certifications, health and safety certifications, that is approved by a regional body such as CAFA, can only augur well for our destination. So viewers, we're looking forward to seeing how that rolls out in the coming days and weeks. All right, so we'll have to take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll be discussing some wins that are happening right now in Sadco, especially where the Capital Paradise is concerned. And we have the Secretary of Food Production here on with us. So we're going to get into those discussions when we come back after the break.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Rest assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest assured, the affordable financial comfort plan, Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment, We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Exhale Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. And now before we get into our next guest, I just need, by way of a public service announcement, to advise you guys, the public, the traveling public, that, you know, more light and landslides are happening in that Bad Rock area there in Bell Garden. So the public is advised of the following changes or traffic heading east to access Kendall by turning left at the Church of God in Richmond to the top of Zion Hill and then through Job Street. Traffic heading west will turn at Longbed in Kendall to Job Street and left at Zion Hill, effectively creating a one-way down Zion Hill. And this is, of course, after more rains. I mean, we're still experiencing the rains right now, but there are some more landslides that are happening in that area. And I know that the authorities are there on hand trying their best to see what can be done to find a permanent and a short-term solution to that issue so that we can regain access to the road. However, for now, access to that road is extremely limited, and actually it's and regular vehicular traffic is not allowed. So yesterday we had a notice that at least the heavier vehicles would be able to pass through the road. However, as a result of things happening last night, all vehicular traffic is not allowed to pass through that area. So you basically have to pass around, and it means, of course, that the buses and the trucks, those vehicles, their journey would be affected. So please be advised accordingly. And like you say, from these shots right here, the authorities, they are on hand, and it's not going to be an easy fix. So, but I know that they are trying to get that problem sorted out as quickly as possible. Of course, the continuous rainfall is not helping us helping them anyway, because it seems as though every time that there is rain, something else happens within that area to affect the road. But public, just please be advised, if you gotta go up travel those areas, you gotta pass around. All right, so getting into our discussions this morning, like I said, we have the Secretary of Food Production, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, none other than Ms. Natisha Charles Panton. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Candice. Good morning, Tobago.
And I was loving your colors this morning because it's Tobago Updates colors.
Thank you.
All right, so, you know, we had some wins over the weekend. We see that the Capital Paradise came back with over 9,000 pounds of tuna.
Yes, certainly. The capital, well, we moved from what about less than 20 tuna to about 78 tuna, which would bring us close to 7,900 and something pounds. And including the bycatch, that will bring us up to 9,000, almost 10,000 pounds of fish.
Wow.
Yes, so we moved from about 11,000 US dollars in export in Forex up to about 50,000 US dollars. So, I mean, it's excellent. So from June to November, TADCO has been doing good, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's like, what, 4 months, 4 or 5 months?
Correct. A very short time. And I want to congratulate the captain and crew. And I want to continue to point out to the general public that we do not pay these crews in advance at all. They go out there, they search for the fish, and they do a great job at it, right? And they get paid based on what they catch, right? So I think they are doing an excellent job, and kudos to the management, the board, and the captain and crew.
And we are seeing that every time the vessel goes out, they're bringing in more and more fish.
Correct, correct. They brought in about 2,000 pounds of bycatch, and the rest in tuna, a yellowfin tuna, and we export that to the US, right? And we sell the bycatch locally, right, to the school feeding program and to, you know, private individuals, agro-processors. So we are doing good, and we sell at $15 a pound, right, in bulk. So we're not competing with the local fishermen.
Great. So we're seeing that TADCO, where the fish side of things are concerned, they are bringing in foreign exchange.
Correct.
So how is that money being utilized?
All right. So let me explain first how we inherited TADCO. So we inherited staff that we have to pay about $8.4 million in salaries, and the subvention is only 4.6 thereabout. So automatically you're seeing that we're in a deficit if we have to consider just wages. And let's talk about development in terms of investment. We have no money for that. So we are quite happy that whatever the division you know, has invested in, we are now reaping returns, rewards, so that we can cover our overheads, right? So we have to pay the crew, we have to pay for maintenance of the vessel, and you have to pay for fuel as well. So when you break down all the costs involved, then you see where we're going here, right? We want to get to that place where we no longer have to depend on a subvention, that the company can be profitable and pay staff and you know, make further investments. And who knows, eventually we may be able to buy shares in TADCO, right? I can't, I'm a politician, but you might be able to, to purchase shares at your generation.
And I'm sure a lot of viewers are looking on, they wouldn't mind that either.
Correct, right? We all, you know, our Tobagonians may be able to invest in TADCO, and that is where we're looking at. So we don't want to have these companies just depending totally on government subvention. That wouldn't make any sense. So we need to continue investing in areas that would bring in returns, and that is why we want to invest in bringing in another vessel. Right?
I was about to ask, I mean, are we looking towards another vessel?
Yes, definitely. We have been having talks with Japan, so we will be doing due diligence in order to bring in a vessel so that we can capitalize on the market, right? As I said, Barbados, in the last interview, Barbados, they're looking at 3.8 million pounds of fish, right? And we're only at, what, 10,000 pounds.
Oh, so, we get it there.
Yeah, so imagine, you know, supplying 3.8 million pounds to Barbados in 1 year. That would be an excellent, you know, achievement. And if you look at the other Caribbean islands like Nevis, they are interested in our fish, right? So we have markets out there. Most of the Caribbean islands, Grenada, they're all reaching out to us and say, hey, we want your fish. And they're looking at fuel costs and all these things. So we have an opportunity in the fishing industry to make some money. Notwithstanding, I'm talking about fish. We are looking at the agro-processors as well.
Certainly.
We have some excellent products that we're about to export. We're looking at the waffle mix and, you know, the dasheen flour, cassava flour. So we are about to enter into the international market. So that also is a good achievement. And I believe that Tobagonians, there's an opportunity for you to get on board. Farmers, there's an opportunity to get on board. So reach out to TADCO and see how you can be part of this success.
Now, we just spoke with CAFA,
yes,
and they announced that they're going to be rolling out these certification programs,
yes,
for various sectors within society, food, yes, and industry, hospitality, etc., yes, in terms of, you know, ensuring that we have a high level of standard for whatever we're serving or producing within Tobago. Now, are you guys also working with CAFA to ensure that our farmers, food processors, etc., are in compliance with certain standards like that?
All right. So TADCO has a MOU with Kariri in Trinidad, and they are also having talks with CAFA, and you'll see that in the coming weeks.
Nice.
Right? So they have been liaising with CAFA in order to have certification. Of course, it'd be nice to have our own certification here, approved by the Executive Council. So we are looking at, you know, forming partnerships, MOUs with all these major players in, you know, in that area.
Okay. Now, just touching a little bit more on the fish. side of things. When what's the goal for, like, so we started the Capital Paradise started going out in June. So in 2023 June would make it 1 year, obviously. What is the goal of catch by that point in time? Is there any sort of KPIs or anything like that?
All right. So we have to look at how much the vessel can catch, right? And we are estimating between 10,000 pounds and 12,000 pounds. We want to ensure the safety of the vessel.
Certainly.
Because you know how heavy, you know, it could be. And sometimes the guys, the crew, they will stay out at sea maybe for a month or less than a month. So when you factor in all of this, you know, and I mean, if we look at it, even if we say 10,000 pounds, because that is what we actually looked at, right? The maximum. And they brought that in.
Yes, I'm just going to say, I mean,
that is the
almost
maximum.
there.
Yeah, they brought that in. So if we are bringing in the maximum that we can now, then we need another vessel, right? And I think it's a great investment, and we're looking forward to bringing in a new vessel and capitalizing on the market.
All right. Now moving on to another initiative from your division, and that is the food hub that's happening at Shore Park. Now it opened 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
And how has that been going so far?
All right, it has been going good. I believe that even during the carnival, where you had so many competing activities, we launched off pretty well. We have a lot of support from the agro-processors and people who are into just cooking local dishes and cuisines. But I don't think that we have enough space to accommodate the demand. Correct. We have some, well, Pastor Baines, Assemblyman, Terence Baines, he has an upcoming event where Lieutenant Stitchy and Positive, they're coming in on the 19th, and all the stalls, they're almost, you know, completely gone. So once we have major activities there, you can see that people will come out and they will get their products and foods sold. So I believe it's a good initiative, and I think that the East would benefit from a food hub, and the North, it would benefit. We have to encourage persons in this space to come to a food safe environment and showcase their talents. We have to start investing more in our people and their creativity, and I believe that is what the food hub is doing at this moment. Last Sunday, dirt oven bread, we had dirt oven bread, and I had porn from the dirt ovens. So we can look forward to, you know, agro-processors and the creativity of our locals coming out at these food hubs.
Now, I mean, you mentioned those things there, and I have to say, I did not see any notification or any sort of marketing advising the public that, hey, you can get dirt oven bread at Shore Park. You know, where is the marketing for that?
Well, TADCO has a page, but I will be sure to let them know that you did not see, so they can beef up their marketing.
And on that point, because I think some people were also reaching out and asking, you know, what are the hours of operation of the food hub? Because that also is missing.
All right, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Thursday to Sundays, right? And we are hoping to get to the place where the food hub will be open every day, so that Mrs. Pantin, when she wants to buy food, she don't have to go buy a fast food place, because she loves soups and broths and stuff like that, so I can just automatically drive straight to the food hub and get what I want.
All right, that sounds great. Now, when Chief Secretary last week spoke to the island, he mentioned that one of the initiatives or one of the plans for our budget allocation going forward is a food hub in Roxborough.
Correct.
Can you give me some more details as to what's that plan about?
All right, so I don't have much details, but I'll tell you that we're looking at a site near the gas station. So we will take a technical team there and assess the site. We'll have consultations with the people in the area. We're going to go through the entire process to ensure that we do our due diligence before setting up another hub that, you know, can serve the residents in the area. We want to make sure we get things right, or at least, you know, close to 100% correct, so that everyone can be satisfied with what we're going to put there.
All right, great. Now, I mean, let's move on. You touched on we're getting ready to export some of the waffle mix and the dasheen mix and that sort of thing. And how is the production side of things going? Because I know that that you guys have been working with the farmers to sort of get that production of the cassava and dasheen, all those things up and going, so that when we're ready to export, we can export a good enough quantity so that the returns are something to boast about.
Correct. So we are doing this in conjunction with Novo Farms Limited in Trinidad. And what Tadco has been doing over the months, I think it's from May, June, they have been working on building capacity of our local farmers in Tobago. So together with Trinidad, they're working together. We had an agronomist, Marcus Maiku. He has been taking them through you know, how to produce more, you know, with less space and all these things. And I've learned a lot of things that, you know, I thought cassava sticks, you know, you have it standing. No, you can have a greater yield by having it horizontal and vertical. So I have been learning a lot from this agronomist that we have brought in. He's excellent, and we will ensure that Tobago come on board when, you know, whenever they have produce in the ground. But yeah, we're working with Tobago farmers, right? So you can say it's a partnership, Trinidad and Tobago, and we're doing, you know, we're going to start exporting. We have the pouches already, we have the flour already, so we'll start exporting. It is important to know that we're not going to compete with the local flour processors. Right, that is why we're looking to export. We're having the flour in the supermarkets and groceries in Trinidad, and we're hoping to export very soon. Not even hoping, we're exporting very soon because we have everything in place.
So, us at Tobago would not be able to get Tadco products?
I wouldn't say no, but we don't want to compete with the local flour processors. If we can come to an agreement where they want Tadco to carry their products locally, that's fine. But you don't want to, you know, ruffle anybody's feathers when coming to, you know, because we want to encourage our agro-processors to have their own space.
Okay, certainly.
So, yes. So we don't want to compete with them. We want to support them as much as possible.
What about, you know, like how has the response been from the farmers? Because I mean, it's been a ticklish subject for many years, in terms of, you know, the THA working with the farmers, getting them organized so that we could have a consistent yield of produce, so that, you know, we could carry down the chain of production. Has there been any progress with us concerned?
Oh, definitely. The farmers are on board, and we can now say that they have contracts. This has never happened before. We have contracted farmers, not only for root tubers, but also for our poultry initiative, right? We have contracts with these farmers, and they are able to supply the company with, you know, tubers and you know, chickens, so that we can, you know, get our products on the market. Right, the poultry contract initiative, it's ongoing. We have distributed close to 3,000 chicks so far. Right, we continuously training our farmers. It's a lot involved in poultry farming, not just you know, just raising chickens, but, you know, medication, making sure they're healthy and all these things. So we are working with our farmers, but they have contracts. We buy back the chickens from them, and very soon you will be able to access chicken on the local chicken, not foreign chicken, right, on the market.
I mean, and before we go, I also want to touch, as you mentioned, chickens. We got to touch on eggs, because eggs are either they're scarce or they're really expensive now. I mean, what are you guys going to be doing? Anything to sort of fill the gap with us concerned? You know, whether we get to produce more eggs, whether we work towards reducing the price of eggs, you know?
Well, so far we are having discussions with companies in Trinidad about eggs. So I don't want to, make a promise just yet because we're looking at all the challenges and what we can do to support the sector. Right? So when I get more information, then I'll be sure to come back and explain everything to you in detail.
On Tobago Updates
Yes,
first.
on Tobago Updates first.
All right, yes. Secretary, I want to just thank you so much for coming on with us and just giving us an update, especially where the fish and the food hub is concerned. I mean, like your division has so many things happening, so we never have enough time, but that's why you need to keep coming back and we can discuss all that's happening within the agricultural sector.
Thank you for having me.
And then viewers, we will be giving you a live update pretty soon. We're going to be taking you through the food hub. So for those of you who don't know what the food hub is and you're hearing about it, you're hearing the conversations here on Tobago Updates, and you're hearing from the secretary, now you're going to be finding out about it pretty soon because we're going to be taking you live through the food hub and then showing you all that there is to offer. And like you said, it's available from Thursdays to Sundays.
Yes, 10
from
to 10.
From 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you can come on down, interact with our local agro-processors and so on, and just, help build our communities together. All right?
Yes.
All right, so viewers, we'll just take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll continue with our discussions here on GMT.
If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero. Champion. Fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise. Starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tapago. Your meals, medication, groceries and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tapago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tapago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tapago's at your service.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago Updates. Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, and we're moving right along with our guest this morning, and we're getting into some art discussions with none other than Mr. Tomley Roberts, and of course he is the curator of, well, he's one of Tobago's prolific artists here and has been doing so much work to develop an art space here and an art culture here on the island. And he's also the curator of the Northeast Tobago Art Trail as part of the Man and the Biosphere project. So special good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
And before we get started on the art trail, I want to just talk a little bit about what you're wearing.
Oh my goodness. Well, what I'm wearing this morning is a shirt by a Tobago designer, Messiah by Gavian Mitchell. So she was the creator behind this shirt, all right? So Messiah by Gavian Mitchell.
And I have to say it looks very, very beautiful. And it shows, and the viewers are not sure, I mean, you may not be able to see it, but it's really good quality and coming from our own Tobago designers.
Yes, yes, indeed. And I must say you are matching as well.
Yes. Well, unfortunately not a local design, but hey. Anyways, like as we continue to see the many ways that we could develop our art industry and just the art culture here in Tobago, you also led the art trail that's happening that is throughout the forest, throughout that area that's designated as the Man and the Biosphere designation and award given by UNESCO.
Correct. Right, well, Tobago would have received the Man and the Biosphere Reserve designation in 2020, and that space has been, well, it's now identified as a protected area, and it encompasses from Moriah right round to Bell Garden. But it's not just about the terrestrial or the land. It also includes the marine. All right, so all the sea space right around that area is also part of the Man and the Biosphere initiative.
And this project, the Art Trail, it is basically pieces of art created by Tobago's artists, whether it's paintings and sculptures, at various points in that whole area that's designated as the Man and the Biosphere.
Yes, the whole idea is to really extensively utilize the purple economy, where we utilize our natural resources and monetize it in a very unique way. All right, so what we have on the screen here are paintings done by local artists. Here in Tobago we have Miss Corey's Wright, that's Corey's Wright, and this is a biosphere depiction, and all these artists were commissioned to do specific pieces. That's one of my pieces. They are a mixture of two different styles, all right, working hand in hand with the environment. And we have this one by Mr. Chris Thomas, all right, and boys at play there, all right, and this is an oil painting. This is the initial piece that opened the entire initiative, done by Miss Avion Orr, another teacher at Spayside High School. And we have this piece by Mr. Israel Melville, a student of Spayside High School. So the whole thrust is to really get all our stakeholders involved, and this one was by another student, from one student at Spayside, Mr. Kishang Jacobs. All right, so we really, this is by Earl Manswell of Lansamy. Right, so we really had Janina Ewalds, and she is from the Environmental Research Institute of Charlottesville, and they would have been the major, vehicle behind this entire initiative. Certainly. Because it started with them. This is also Janina's piece as well. All right, so the Environmental Research Institute would have developed the initiative, and they would have liaised with various artists throughout Tobago. This is one of our students, Mr. K1 at Spayside High School. In fact, right now, we are preparing for the terrestrial sculptures, right? And these students are creating design, right, for the sculptures. So these are some snapshots of them actually working on the designs, and these are to be unveiled pretty shortly. By December, we are hoping before Christmas to have these designs completed and also the sculptures erected.
Great.
All right.
Now, we already had one sculpture erected, and that's at the main ridge visitor center.
We own, yes.
Right. Now, what's the intention behind this? Is there part of the title is a Northeast Tobago Art Trail. And our word trail indicates that there's a little initiative there happening.
Yes, so definitely it takes people through the Northeast Reserve, and also not just take them there by just, driving aimlessly, but they now have an opportunity to actually view the artwork in the space. It gives the artist some exposure to people who would not normally see such high quality artwork. So they have the opportunity to interact with the work at a very close-up range. In fact, in the Bloody Bay Palatovia area, the pieces that were done by Jason Ned are actually original pieces.
Wow.
Those are not reproductions, those are original pieces, and that is very, very commendable, because art is very costly, and if you look at the size of the work, you would realize that this must have been some sort of contribution. So we want to thank Mr. Jason Ned for his contribution, because I don't know that the Environmental Research Institute could actually pay for such a hard work, right? So congratulations to all the artists who took part in the initiative, right? That's up Kishang there, and all the pieces are being displayed. So it's a very important thing to really showcase artwork. Tobago, I would believe, possess most talent per capita than any other place in the world. And as a country, as an island, we need to really invest in that. As we travel, you have travel, and most of the places that we go to are infused with art galleries, museum, and so forth. Tobago in itself, it can be like an entire museum and an art gallery, and we need to monetize that and capitalize that. And most importantly, we need to have a space dedicated to showcase the artwork. So what the Environmental Research has done, they have created a space outside the box in the actual environment, in the reserve, so we can bring people there to actually see the artwork. And I think that's a very, very good initiative.
Great. And as we were seeing the pieces a little while ago, you spoke of the quality, and you're certainly seeing that quality in these pieces, and it's making me think, I need to purchase some of these.
Well,
so is there a plan that, even to have a replica as part of our, even just our literature and just our paraphernalia that goes out for our visitors and even our people here on the island?
Well, what I could say is that we definitely plan to do some reproduction so that they will be more accessible to the public here in Tobago, and if we wish to send internationally as well, that is something that we are looking into. So we will definitely get into that, some reproduction, so the average person can actually be part of the process and actually own one of these pieces of art.
Wow. So, I mean, here you have it, Tobago. You can be able to soon be able to own these pieces of art. And, I mean, when we look at art, we're slowly changing the way we think in society about art. Because, normally we go to Europe and those places, and we go to those major museums, and we look at those artists that have been there, have their pieces like Van Gogh and Picasso, and all those things. But, we don't seem to want to take it home, but we're finally seeing that change that's happening within our society.
Yes, change is definitely happening in our society, and we really need to change the discussion. We need to change the narrative and really ensure that we utilize our natural resources or talent here in Tobago, not just for the people, but in terms of diversifying our economy. All right, so the whole idea behind the Northeast Arts Trail is to ensure that we use it as a vehicle to diversify our economy. All right, so we have the artists being featured, we have all our natural resources. In fact, the whole initiative, I would dub it as, part of our natural and cultural idiosyncrasies, and we need to really capitalize on those things here in Tobago in particular.
Are we going to see a museum sort of created to showcase more art in alignment with the Man and the Biosphere project?
Well, at this point in time, the museum is our natural environment. That is what we are working with.
Okay.
That is our natural environment. So that is the space we have. But I'm hoping that in the not too distant future that the assembly can create a space for the visual arts in Tobago, right? Because as it is now, there is no space per se dedicated to the visual arts in Tobago, and that has been so for a very long time. In fact, the space designated for the artists has now been utilized otherwise, and we cannot afford to have this type of talent here in Tobago and not really capitalizing on it.
Well, maybe this is an opportunity for you to champion an art museum up in the East, especially in that area.
Well, I have no problem with championing. Of course, what needs to happen is that the government be it in Trinidad or Tobago, need to understand the importance of this and really put the necessary resources. Let's see it as capital development. Once you put the necessary resources in place, then it will gain benefits for itself.
And have you had any reactions from visitors to the island yet, viewing and just experiencing these pieces at its locations?
Of course, many persons have been enthused, excited. They were taking photographs and posting them, etc., etc. And that has been really, really, really interesting. All right, so I am really, really happy that that is happening, right? And we can also ensure that people, you know, continue to go and take photographs and post them. You know, they feel a sense of pride. They feel that this is ours, this is a part of us. And when people feel that type of ownership, they would want to protect and preserve what we have. So the whole thrust is to get the people involved and so forth. And this would not have been possible without the small grant program, the Office of the Chief Secretary, the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transport, the Division of Food Security, and I saw the Secretary was here this morning as well. You know, the Sustainable Development, Woodside Energy. All right, so we want to thank all the sponsors and contributors. Of course, as I said, the entire initiative would not have been possible without the forward thinking of the Environmental Research Institute of Charlottesville. All right, and they came up with the idea a few years ago. They contacted me, they contacted the artists as well, and you know, we bought into the entire idea. In fact, the whole idea of the art trail came from, I think, the Palatovere Lansamy Village Council. They actually conceptualized the idea at first, and then they got buy-in, and you know, everybody got on board.
Okay, great. Now, I mean, this is incredibly exciting, and we're looking forward to see the addition of the sculptures. And I mean, viewers, in case you don't know, these sculptures are also going to be placed within the forest along the trails.
Yes, we have some sculptures that are going to be placed in the forest, and some are going to be underwater as well. So right now, the students at Spay High School, you know, we've made a name for ourselves in the arts in Trinidad and Tobago, and the students are busily working on those sculptures, which are soon going to be unveiled to the public.
And I, for one, I'm looking forward to going underwater and viewing these sculptures under the water.
Well, I would like to do that sometime. I'm still trying to muster up some courage to actually go and learn the diving.
I would recommend go by Dougie, because by Mr. Alvin Douglas, because certainly he is the best. Good morning to you, Dougie. Hope you're doing well.
So definitely something to look forward to, and all of Tobago, all of Trinidad and Tobago can view the art trail. It starts at Bell Garden, and they can traverse the entire area of Tobago. And of course, if you're willing or interested in getting local art, you could also contact us and, you know, ensure you capitalize and capture one of these brilliant pieces of artwork by a local artist here in Tobago.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Mr. Tommy Roberts, for giving us an update on what's been happening with the Northeast Art Trail, part of the Man and the Biosphere project. It's exciting times. It is. And we're seeing this is like one of the first initiatives to roll out since we've gotten that designation at the beginning of this year. It's a lot of exciting things to come, certainly where art is concerned, and we're looking forward to it.
Definitely.
All right, viewers, well, that's how we're going to have to end our program today, on a very positive light, on a very rainy day. So have a wonderful, safe, and productive day, and we'll be at it again tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow we're going to get started with the Youth Wednesday show for the morning show at 7 a.m. and then I'll join you again at 8 a.m. So look forward for that. All right, have a good day, and we'll see you again.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the sky.